Hey, Eric.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, did you know that we have a Patreon page?
Where do you find that?
You find it at patreon.com/retroam. You can go there and support us and actually get other stuff too.
Yes.
Would you like to hear some hot sounds that I have recorded for you?
Mark, play the hot sounds.
Thank you, Mark.
Shepard?
For the hot sounds. Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast about Xenogears. Tonight, we jettison ourselves toward the culmination of this classic masterpiece by clanging our fists together. My name is Chris, and I am joined by Eric. Hey, Eric.
Hey, Chris.
How are you today?
Just searching for my nemesis.
Welcome. Welcome to the RealNet. The RealNet is a collective of patrons that listen and contribute to our show live on Discord. We love you, RealNet. We love you, FakeNet, too, by the way. We do love the FakeNet. I like the RealNet more, though, because they're real people.
Dude.
So, Merkava Calls. Merkava is calling me. It's calling me. I need to go there.
We know what Merkava is yet? Is that the floating landmass that we're currently on? Is that its name, or is that Mahanan?
That's Mahanan.
Okay. So is Merkava Calls, is it actually called Calling Melcover to God, the Lament of Melcover, or the Melcover of Sorrow?
I'm going to go with the second one, the Lament to... Say it again?
The Lament of Melcover?
The Melcover? That's
what the study guide says. Melcover.
That's weird.
Melcovial?
Because it's definitely Merkava or Merkaba.
Hey man, I'm just going by what it says.
Well, I'm going with that one.
You're wrong.
Oh.
It is the Melcover of Sorrow.
Oh. Well, this is there's some sorrowful things that's going to happen here tonight, Eric, I think. For sure.
Yeah, this was the greatest source. At the time, what we're about to face was the hardest RPG boss I had faced in my life at that time.
Yeah, me too. And the experiences I had in this time around were weird. We will talk about there when we get there.
I had some shit happen to me. But before we get there, we get to a new JPEG.
We do. Phase in the chair.
It's like a giant metal disc thing on dirt. Like, what is that?
That's Merkava.
Okay.
Right?
Sure. I mean, it has to be, doesn't it?
Merkava is where she is. Krelian's constructing this. It is God's Ark.
Faye says they searched for Ellie there using data from Raziel.
Yeah.
And found that Krelian was using nanomachine tech to construct the Ark Merkava.
Indeed.
Its completion was imminent. The gang goes to Merkava to stop its activation and rescue Ellie. Which again, you could envision a whole scenario where you go and get this information and then go to a different dungeon and infiltrate all of this stuff had this game been fleshed out.
Would you like to hear what Merkava means or is?
I'd love to.
Merkava is, this is according to the Xenogears and Xenosaga wiki. Merkava is likely a mistranslation of Merkaba, a Hebrew word meaning chariot, referring to the throne chariot mentioned in the Old Testament. But do you know what the first thing that comes up when you just Google Merkava spelled exactly like it is in Xenogears?
Ryuji the Chariot Arcana?
Hell yeah!
No.
Come on.
An Israeli tank called the Merkava.
Fuck, man.
So...
The more things change, etc.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, you're right. We have... Then we get like another JPEG scene, right? With the four elements.
G elements. We didn't vanquish their combined contraption.
No.
The thing is flying over Merkava.
No, it didn't blow up. Remember, after we beat it, they were still standing in their individual gear sprites. So all we did was break it apart.
Like also very cool.
Like when Devastator loses, it falls apart back into the Constructicons, and then...
The glue fades.
Yes, indeed. That's what happened here. Dominia is explaining that they are there to help their commander, because in this JPEG, it looks like that Faye is flying towards this thing, and then the Voltron, G Elements, appears in the background.
All of their sprites appear above it to conduct the stage play.
Yes.
Dominia says not to misinterpret their presence. They're here to help Ramses. Krelian and Miang are manipulating him to kill the Emperor.
Yes, the elements have sort of figured out what is going on here, and they are there with no intention of helping Faye and his friends, but...
Don't they say present tense, though? Manipulating him to kill the Emperor? Like, do they not know that that's already happened? Or is it timey-wimey here where...
I think it just could be a weird...
Simultaneous.
Yeah, a weird location or localization kind of thing.
And then my next note is, LOL, Dominia calls Ellie Faye's girlfriend and insists they're not here to save her.
Yeah. I totally missed that. That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah.
because I totally missed that.
I think either Domini or Rico also did that back in Kislev, right? When Domini was in that ship gear.
Yeah. Somebody.
like that?
Yeah, because remember, like Rico. Yeah, it's definitely Rico during the assault on Kislev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Faye is more or less okay with him. He's kind of like, okay, but you know what? If shit gets wild, you guys got to go.
Yeah, you got to go. So I guess we're not getting the elements in our party.
So the elements feel this way about Ramses because he's the one who pulled them out of the shit, right? And they just feel like an eternal debt to him?
I think so.
Or is it like a crush thing? Or like what is...
Well, it's weird because there's been some weird... I don't know. I think it has to be beyond just a debt of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
There is some sort of weird... I don't know if sexual is the right word, but there's some weird attraction from the elements towards Ramses.
Is Ramses their Fae?
Yeah?
Kind of?
Sort of?
Like that's what it has to be, just at all costs, they'll do anything?
Yeah? Maybe?
But they all like attack it. To me, it seems like Dominia and to a lesser extent, maybe Kelvena are into it, whereas Talon and Seraphidia don't necessarily seem as into Ramses. Maybe just because we have more Dominia solo scenes that we have that impression of her.
Yeah, that's true. Do you feel that the build up to this scene is sort of like this scene comes out of nowhere? So there's zero build up to this point, and I think there's probably zero payoff to this point as well.
As far as their presence here?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just here to show up and be like, hey, we're still here.
Yeah.
Again, might be the last time we see them.
Feels like there's a couple of things missing here, I think, which, given the circumstances...
That's a Disc 2 subtitle. It feels like there could be a couple of things missing here, I think.
Yeah, probably. Faye is back in the chair. He's explaining that inside Merkava, they fought back nanomachine bad guys, which I would have liked that dungeon to go and fight back the forces of Trellian that were created by his nanomachines.
Yeah, he says they fought weapons that were self-regenerating.
Yeah.
So imagine that as far as that, how that could go as enemies and unique enemy types and unique battle challenges.
Yeah, there was definitely going to be a dungeon here, and this is one of the dungeons I'm like, man, I wish we could have had some time to explore this area, but
there is some automated exploration here. Do you have the column that Veltal 2 descends?
Yes. As we sort of are getting towards the culminating, as we get near the boss fight, basically, the Veltal 2 is dropping down into the Merkava, and we see the sort of ethereal forms of the angel statues from the Nisan Cathedral.
Yeah, it's like they're holograms.
Yeah.
They're surrounded by a dark navy machine shaft with yellow energy highlights.
There's a lot of different ways to read this here, and I guess my question is to you, why are these here?
So Veltal can fall between their hands. That is exactly why they're here, as the art director wanted to express something very specific.
Okay, well, I took it to the next level here, and I thought about it even more deeply, Eric. Was the Nisan religion founded upon these concepts? Because...
Oh, sure, yeah.
The concepts of these... Like
somebody saw that in a vision, and then that became the...
Yeah, were these here when... Like, I think we come to find out later that Merkava is like was originally part of the spaceship.
Everything was.
Yeah, everything was part of the spaceship. So they were here. Humanity was created by the process that was executed once the spaceship fell out of or onto the planet. So is this sort of reverence for these objects baked into humanity's DNA, and that's why a religion was founded? Or did Krellian put them here?
Yeah, like which way? It's the recycle symbol where it all just feeds into each other and you can't tell where it actually begins or where it ends.
Yeah, if it was the former, it would be weird that Nisan was a religion that essentially was correct about all their lore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's no way religion can be man-made, man.
Yeah, exactly. So it's sort of an interesting way to read that. It's like, well, one of the religions on this planet got everything right, and here is proof to that.
Wouldn't that be some shit?
Yeah. And there is a line, actually probably a couple of pages in Childhood's End by Arthur C. Clarke.
Oh, about which one got it right?
Where they specifically, like the overlords say, all of your religions are wrong except for some elements of Buddhism. Yeah. Which is,
I think that's true, probably.
That probably is true. But it's interesting in this game that was partially inspired by that book that one of the religions maybe got everything right.
Yeah.
But at least we have sort of a reason for that. I think it's fun to think about.
Do you know what the next fun thing to think about is?
That the Merkava looks like the Technodrome.
A little bit, kind of.
From the inside.
As soon as I landed, I recognized that as an endgame similar art direction location. Like I got like a chill when I landed. Like, oh my God, we really are about to finish this thing pretty soon.
Yeah. It has this weird like techno. What's the word that you could use to describe
biotechno?
Biotechno. The way to describe this
biopunk,
the biome that you're in. Yeah, biopunk. Is that a word? Did you just make that up?
No, that's a thing.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you created
anything
a genre.
suffix punk is a thing.
Yeah, that's true. Damn it. Okay.
So there's something when you land that you can find that is very easy to miss, but is very helpful for what you're about to face.
Oh, I must have missed it.
Okay. It's what I was just referencing a second ago about what else is down here.
Yeah.
What else could have been here for so long? What else could have inspired a religion that is in this place?
Yeah.
A fucking Johnny bot.
Oh, the shopkeeper Johnny is down here?
There is a door off to the right that you go into a column, and he's got all the good shit.
So
he has armor that you really need for this upcoming fight, Chris.
I was prepared. Like I was getting ready to turn on my laptop and type something silly about shopkeeper Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, oh, shopkeeper Johnny's not here.
Not for you.
My jokes are not going to work.
It's not in your scenario.
So Eric, what are your jokes?
About shopkeeper Johnny?
Or no, at least what can you get from him?
You get, I forget what the exact name of it is, but you can buy some armor that is very good at blocking ether attacks, better than whatever else you currently have right now.
Okay.
And considering that one of the upcoming bosses attacks exclusively in ether, it can be valuable.
I had a couple of those things that I had equipped, so.
Like I had some +1 of whatever that is, but he sells up to +3.
Oh, well.
Those, so
I've still made it.
That's very good. So yeah, again, I ended up doing what we're about to go over here 3 times, and I missed that the first time. I just happened to see it the second.
Okay. So, then we go down a hallway.
Yeah, you just walk down one hallway. It's more of a tube.
Yeah.
And then we get some dialogue.
Yes.
I don't think it's next to a portrait. It's just out of it, right?
I don't have it.
Just says, "I've been waiting for you, Faye."
Oh, yes.
Exclamation point.
Indeed. And who else will be waiting for Faye right here, right?
Yeah, this is our first, we saw it from a zoomed out point of view, but this is our first actual look at emphysema.
Yeah.
Which is, I've got the perfect description as, my boy is in some purple wackadoodle thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a really weird looking detached head, fucking hammerhead shark, ape.
I wrote down, like, it zooms in on Ramses, and he's in a gear that has a hat on. The hat is another gear which has crossed arms.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're familiar with the headmasters. Well, I know you're familiar with the headmasters.
Yeah.
But this is a headmaster, right?
Yeah.
Sort of.
It's got a detachable head that is also a robot.
Yeah.
So what's unique about Ramses is he is displaying his aggression by bashing the knuckles of his fists together repeatedly. And as I've said before, if you watch this 1,000 times, which you do if you keep losing, the audio sound effect is not in sync with the graphics, and it can get misplaced.
Yeah, it's weird. Also, if you stop to take notes.
Yeah, and like if you let him, if you don't press forward on the die, he'll just sit there and bash his fists together forever. Yeah. I guess those don't take knuckle damage. He tells Faye that, again, if only you hadn't been born.
Yeah.
That we're going to settle this now. And my dude is still on this shit.
Yeah.
He's still being consumed by this. There's no solving it. Something has to happen here and now.
He begins to not only become...
He's on his second Omni gear.
He's becoming angry, but also I know that you and I have never become this angry, but I think there's a level of anger that you can reach where not only are you expressing your anger, but you are also expressing your lore.
Oh, yeah.
And Ramses begins to express his anger via lore. He says, "My life was given to me with a nanoreactor in Krellion's laboratory, to be born as the superior being above all humans. But then," and then we hit a flashback.
Yeah, well, Faye smoking his dumb ass upsets that truth.
Yeah, that's true.
I was wondering, before the flashback, this is Ramses' second Omni gear that he's in.
Yeah.
And I was wondering why in the hell Krellion let Ramses have his personal gear. But from what we know later, Omni gears won't necessarily matter much anymore. And also, Krellion was probably like, fuck it, and give it to him. Let him feel like he has confidence even one more time, even though he's going to get wiped again, LMAO.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they needed...
just another way to fuck with Ramses. Like, if it's a side plot that, like, if Xenogears was a screwball comedy, it's just him messing with it, like pulling the rug out from underneath him again.
Yeah, or
he's
maybe...
holding the football for Charlie Brown to kick.
The alternative read is maybe, like, I need 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So
this will be good for 15 minutes.
This will last longer than 15 minutes, yeah. So we'll find out, I guess.
Then we get a flashback.
Yes.
Which, again, if you fail this fight, you have to watch this flashback every time.
Yes, unless you're using emulation.
Oh, yeah. The future.
Yeah, the future.
Yeah, the future.
of video games, save states. Yeah, flashback. Krillin is looking at a fetus in a tube. I think we've seen this fetus in a JPEG in the past.
I think we've also, this is his lab, right? Like we've been at this location before when we were in Solaris. A woman approaches, and what does Krillin say? This time, your body is young.
Ah. And
your previous body got too old.
And the woman is Karen.
This one's name is Karen.
And she now has a portrait. I think this is the first time we've seen Karen's portrait.
I think so,
yes.
Yeah. There's a thing in a tube. It's 0808191 Ramses. Not Ramses, Ramses.
We heard him say Ramses during the...
It was a Gazel sequence, right?
Yes, or maybe when the Emperor was killed.
Yeah, when the... Okay, yeah. You're right. When the Emperor was killed.
Also, he says that the Emperor has been told that this is a prototype for the contact.
An artificial contact.
Yes, and I think...
So they're lying to the Emperor.
Yeah, I think it's not. And I remember back in the day, I actually, up to this point, I thought that Ramses was an artificial contact. So I guess this stuck with me, even though it was a lie that was told towards the Emperor.
You repeated it to yourself.
Yeah.
This thing will grow several times faster than an ordinary human.
Mm-hmm.
As a trade-off, its psychological development may be fucked up. It's like the effects of making a copy of a copy. You ever see Multiplicity?
Yeah.
And they make the clone of the clone and he's all fucked up.
She touched my peppy, Steve.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what Ramses is.
Yeah, Krillin's very aware that this creation is going to be powerful, but is destined to have psychological trauma, which is kind of a fucked up thing.
Yeah. It's going to do its job.
Yeah.
The best part is Karen asks if it can hear them.
Yeah, it can.
And it can, and she says it's better that way.
It already has a will of its own. So I guess Karen already understands the fact that this thing is going to play a role and it needs to be angry.
And she says they need to throw it away, I guess on purpose to inspire that anger.
Maybe. I think you're right.
Can you imagine being a toddler or a fetus and having like your adult brain being aware of shit, but your body's Benjamin Buttoned and you can't do shit?
Shit.
Like what kind of hell that must be? I mean, I guess that's kind of like locked in syndrome for a lot of people. But
yeah. She says that she has a better way of doing this and wants to dispose of this thing. And I guess like based on what you just said, maybe that's just a plot.
That's to do it. But then she also says that she is a child.
Yes.
The child is a contact.
Yes.
What is the child's name?
She said, my child will be 4 this year. It is a contact. And it's kind of fucked up when she says it is a contact.
Yeah.
But Krillin asked what the child's name is. And Karen said, my child's name is Faye.
So Karen is not Karen at this point, right? Like it's clearly a new person because the old body got too old. This is a young one. Someone else is now Karen.
We're going to understand this more explicitly later.
Yes.
But do you remember think back to the original Ramses fight when Bart called him a jerk?
Yeah.
Do you remember there were some moments when there were a couple of moments when Ramses had a couple of flashbacks where the screen turned white and he heard some sort of disembodied dialogue? One of them was this line, my child's name is Faye.
Really?
Yeah. When Faye showed up and Bart called him Faye, he heard this line in his head.
That is excellent.
Yeah. That's a 60-hour payoff, basically.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Did you remember that, or did you like...
No, I remember that.
That's really good. That's excellent.
I think I only remember that because I listened to our early episodes more than I listened to our current episodes.
Of us talking right now? Of
us talking right now because I was trying to get the levels right, learning how to create this stuff. So I just remember hearing that episode a lot.
So as a consequence, they assume that because she has the contact, they assume that means the antitype or anti-contact in the original translation is also being born somewhere.
Yes.
So one cannot exist without the other is what I'm pulling from that?
Yeah, I guess the system dictates that both of them have to be born at the same time, I think.
They both conclude the thing in the tube is worthless. Is this Karen under the impression that it is also like what they told Kane about it being a copy of a contact and not a copy of Kane?
Yeah. So
is she being tricked too, or is she just telling that to this thing?
It confused me. This has always confused me.
So, yeah, I don't know. This is an interesting lore scene, and I think that's kind of it.
Yep. Then we go back to the present, and Ramses...
Fists are bashing.
Yep, fists are continuing to bash.
So do we have to, like, Ramses says this is why he is the way he is. Are we to assume he just told our boys this story?
Yeah, because Faye is very confused about Ramses knowing his mother.
Yeah.
And the specific Ramses line was, I was destined to be the representative of God, having the might of the emperor. I was destined to be the ultimate existence, having the power to exercise absolute control over all. And that leads me to believe that Ramses at least thinks that he is both the clone of Cain and a contact.
Man. Yeah, cool. So that would feed into the I'm the ultimate being.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to beat me.
Yeah.
Faye.
So I think you could debate that, but that's at least what Ramses' understanding of his existence is. Then
he reblames Faye for everything.
Yeah, indeed, which he's done many times. Domini appears, and she tries to stop Ramses. I just wrote down that he yells at her a lot, and then things get on.
Domini appears, but she's in Blade Gash. Like, it's not just her. She drops in her gear. I don't know where the fuck the rest of the elements are.
Yeah.
Like, you think they would have brought all of their stuff unless some of them were decimated on the way there?
If you have a Voltron, you should bring the Voltron. And
Ramses tells her to shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Sees this as a betrayal, and it reminds Domini that he saved her.
Indeed.
And then
Ramses says, "This is the end for you, and in guard."
Yeah, because here I come, Faye.
Yeah, sure, yeah. And then the battle begins, and we are battling the emphysema.
Just make the fake net say it.
No, the child must learn to speak on his own.
Amphisvena. Amphisvena is likely a mistranslation of amphisbanana.
What?
I don't know. You can fucking fake that.
Amphibian banana.
A mythological ant-eating serpent with a head on each end.
Initializing fake net.
Neither of the boys know that I explained this in the future past of the previous episode.
Ouroboros?
Sort of.
All right.
Yeah, it's probably, perhaps. I don't know. That's according to the Xenogears Xenosaga wiki.
Emphysema opens this fight with a move called Wave 3 Demiser. What does it do?
It takes your HP to 1.
Fuck yeah. I love it when bosses do this shit.
This is a dirty-ass trick.
Yeah, the classic opening round, 1 HP.
Yeah.
Did you what gear healing devices were on your persons at this point?
Well,
what did you have? If you didn't have them, oh boy, your soul.
Oh boy, your soul. I had frame HP 50 or whatever.
50?
On most of them, yes.
I had 30. 50 is a little too fuel hungry for me.
It is, because guess what, Eric?
You ran out of gas?
I accidentally used frame HP 50 on Faye twice.
Cool.
Instead of...
It's funny you accidentally did something because I hit Faye with booster immediately, but then didn't realize that he boosted into another turn before my other guys and just hit booster again and wasted a fucking turn.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened here with me as well. Who did you have here, by the way?
My first time I took Faye, Sidon, and Bart.
I had Maria. Faye, Sidon, and Maria.
Yeah, okay.
Because I love Maria, by the way.
Eventually I went with Faye, Sidon, and Billy.
Yes.
So Emphysema does something a little bit against type for Ramses, where its other move is to go into Blaze pose.
Yes, I thought it was a mirror pose, but it's not.
It's not. You have to break it.
Yeah.
You have to attack it and break it, or else it'll do some Terra Flare mega attack if you don't.
Yeah, Terra Flare, I think, does ether damage, and otherwise he just kind of stands there and does a move that's kind of like it's a debuff, kind of like Wild Smile, where he lowers your accuracy and evasion. But I was able to break the Blaze pose with System id combos or a couple of like level 2 combos with the other characters.
Yeah, so this guy hits hard, but if you use enough System id or Jesse Cannon or any of the good stuff, it kind of doesn't last that long.
No, it doesn't.
It's a hard fight, but
yeah.
With gear combat being as limited as it is, there aren't a lot of ways to kind of for it to go south right here.
I think the best way to do it is to do as much damage as fast as you can.
Yes, you booster and then do your high attacks. Don't fuck around with trying to get to infinity mode here. You don't need it.
Yes, I think I maybe lost this once.
This fight right here, the past I have no idea. Now, no, I didn't get wiped here at all.
This time I lost once because I didn't... When I got the HP 1 thing, I thought maybe this is a battle that I'm supposed to lose.
So, yeah.
And I didn't really take it seriously, and then I was like, oh, wait, I'm supposed to do that.
Reminder that if you do a charge as under system id, it repairs 10x the amount.
Yeah.
Although burning 1,000 fuel to get there, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we get some more cutscenes.
Yes, the gear goes flying backwards and creates a huge hole in the wall.
As it does.
Sure.
A voice tells us this is where Kar was born.
Indeed.
I assume metaphorically? Or is it where his hatred was forged, where he became the person to hate to be the man that he is today?
It's weird. I'm not really sure because I thought that he would have been born in a lab in Solaris, but
yeah,
sure.
I think he was like maybe born again here.
Perhaps.
So then we go to a room that has a white basket weave in the center of it, or like a brain thing that is highly reminiscent of Evangelion.
It is, and it's more. There's more like green neon lights in the architecture.
It's a gross combination of colors. It's not visually appealing.
Indeed,
it's threatening.
There is that giant half basket thing has a bunch of eyeballs on it.
Not yet. They're closed right now.
Yeah, they're closed. Yeah, it appears they have eyeballs,
which definitely looks like the Eve from Evangelion too. With like anytime there's eyes without expression, it just reminds me of that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, specifically the end of Evangelion.
Yes. Is Ellie crucified here?
Yes.
Yeah, they walk in and Ellie, not her gear, but Ellie is on a crooked crucifix.
Yes, it is Krellian, Miang, and a crucified Ellie, and it looks like some sort of ceremony or something is taking place here.
Yeah, like they're doing some dark arts.
Yeah.
Krellian tells us that Deus's resurrection is imminent, and sacrificing Ellie is the final step.
Yes, that's going to bring about the resurrection of God. So I guess now we know why she was so important, I guess.
Krellian gets tired of explaining this shit, says we don't need to know that it's going to end here, and then out of nowhere, whoosh.
Yes, that one huge gear that we once saw in Krellian's lab emerges, and Miang says, Adeiu, boys.
Yeah, Adeiu, boys. It dramatically pops up from behind like a bridge or a balcony or something. The camera pulls back and frames it from behind Weltall's shoulder, which is a great shot.
And it's a 3D render, right?
Yes, it is the actual, I'm pretty sure it is the actual gear. And Adeiu, boys is very good.
Yeah, it is.
The basket in the background now has eyes looking, is it Adam or Eve at the end? In Evangelion? What?
Adam. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of...
Ray, I don't know.
It's both.
Shit. I don't want to think about that right now. That was last summer. Although it's not this summer yet. You thought last summer was weird. What do you get to 2020? Okay. So, it's time for a fight. We didn't get a chance to heal, by the way.
Nope. Because there's no, like, go back to your menu, heal, buy new parts, save. Nope. No time to save. This is your classic double boss.
I'm in a bad spot because I accidentally used, like I said before, the fixed frame 50 with Faye twice, and I have no fuel with him.
So here's the thing here, which I read on my second time, is this gear will, I think, respond with a counterattack, but if you don't attack it, its magic ability does 0 damage to you. So theoretically, you could sit there and charge until you're ready. Charge and heal, charge. It's a fantastic waste of time.
I didn't realize that.
So I don't know if that's true because I swear to God it was doing 7,000 damage to me the first time I played this. And I don't remember hitting it. I may have hit X on accident one time and just zoned out.
Yeah.
But I cast doubt upon that.
Yeah. So when you attack her, you may have said this. She increases her defense when she gets hit and her ether attack goes up.
Yeah.
And then after she does the nuke, her defense goes back down.
Yeah. Waved forward Devastator. She powers her ether and defense every single time.
So, given my situation with no fuel with Faye, I was like, I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
But I didn't lose. Because I just stood there and charged with Faye until I got enough for system id and a couple of combos, and then did as many level 3 combos as I possibly could with both Maria and Seitan, and I eventually won.
I don't know what happened with me, but I got a few attacks in, and then she wiped Billy and Bart on one of her mega charged up ether, like powered up ether attacks.
Yeah.
And then System id ended for Faye. And I was like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, okay, maybe I'll get lucky and like I'll hit my X attack, which does nothing. And then, it'll be this miraculous thing that saves the battle. I did all I've got left is Faye. I did my X attack, miss. And then she did one more charge and I did my triangle combo next time. It did 700 damage and she fell over.
Indeed.
And I had like 25 HP at this point in my gear. So it was a feeling of massive triumph and relief at not having to do this over again.
Yeah. I remember having to do this a lot way back when, and I think I actually lucked out. I think the reason that I was able to win this because of the dire circumstance that I was in was because I wasn't doing as much damage as you normally would do at the front end of a battle.
Yeah.
For 2 reasons. 1, Maria kept missing. 2, Faye was just sitting there charging so I could get like 1,050 fuel.
Yeah.
So I could bring out system id. So she didn't hurt me as bad as possibly she would have if I would have done more damage at the front of the battle. So I was able to win, and I was like, oh shit. So after you beat her,
she says, "My, aren't we powerful?"
And I was like, oh, maybe this battle's hard because we're gonna have to fight her again. But you don't.
Did you get any loot out of this?
I maybe did. I didn't write it down.
I got the Executioner gown. It's a rare drop.
Oh, cool. What does that do?
It's Lady Armor.
Oh,
I powered Lady Armor.
Oh, you can't. Well, guess what? You can't give it to Ellie,
right? So Maria, who you are never on foot with, so
Emeralda,
yeah, probably Emeralda.
Not sure how much on foot stuff there's left in this video game. By the way,
there's Doomman's Isle. There's some extraneous activities later.
Yeah. So,
but then she gets back up.
Yeah,
she fucking gets back up.
Nanomachines have healed her.
You said, let's start over from the beginning. You think you can beat me this time?
Yep.
Krellian says we can't win unless we decompose her atomic structure.
Oh.
Miang can regen using nanomachines.
Fun. Miang then says it is now time for the Great Awakening.
Oh, now is the time.
Now is the time.
A buzzing noise happens.
Miang is she's on 4chan, 8chan. She's
8chan.
QAnon, Great Awakening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
QAnon's Q's going to send us messages to...
But yeah, shit gets wild, lights flash. Citan believes that they are trying to detach the Anima relics from the Omnigears.
Yeah, Bart says I have Bart for some reason. He says he feels like his body is being torn apart.
Yeah.
Billy says, Arg, I'm getting torn apart.
Arg.
Faye speculates that their Anima relics are being consumed by Deus. And the gear sprites are being absorbed into that thing as it makes a howling noise.
Yeah, and
so they're sucking the gears up?
We see the sprites of the 4 Omnigears that we have in our group, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of descending down, and Miang explains the point of this, of the the point of Omnigears in general is to attain their respective animus and return to the persona. Basically, she's saying these are parts of Deus, these are parts of God.
The physical manifestation of God, it regains their purpose with its partner.
Yep.
Omnigears without these relics are like puppets.
Yep. Krellian explains that Elhaim is part of God too. We are all stupid clowns.
Yes.
Which
he tells Faye that he brought all these parts here just for him.
He's full heel. Like Krellian has gone full heel at this point in time, and you know what? I appreciate it.
I don't know why she says it, but after this, Miang also says the ministry made up the creation myth.
Yeah,
which is like some did you know pop-up video shit.
Yeah, she explains that she and the ministry fabricated the creation story to meet their own ends.
Yeah, it's like, isn't that interesting? It's irrelevant to what we're doing now.
Guess what, Eric?
Guess what? What's up?
Balthazar told you to believe the myths and legends instead. Don't believe their stuff. Believe the myths and legends.
Yeah, I guess one gives you power and believing in nothing doesn't give you anything.
You didn't listen to Balthazar.
So then we get a guy from the rafters.
Ramses, he's back. He's pondering his purpose. The camera sort of pans above.
He's still on this shit. He has no other personality.
He's been on this shit for 35. You're right. Yeah, he's been on this shit for 35 hours. He has no. He's basically somebody who attaches their identity to like a brand. Like PlayStation 5 is going to be awesome. Mm-hmm. It's going to be better than Xbox.
Yeah,
like that's Ramses. He's a console war fanboy.
You're going to defend it, and even though you don't know what teraflops mean, you know more equals better.
Indeed. He the camera at this point swoops across the scene and like shows the whole sort of pans across the whole biome here as Miang explains his exact purpose.
Miang tells him this, and I think he actually respects Miang as opposed to Faye and the gang saying, "What the fuck are you doing?" Maybe if Miang says this shit.
Yeah.
But what is his purpose? What does Miang tell him his purpose was?
Purpose is to be manipulated, basically.
Yeah, and to eliminate Cain.
Yeah, he's trash now.
Cain's will became to like humans too much, and he was beginning to empathize with them.
He was beginning to emphysema with the humans.
Yes.
No.
COVID-19.
Yeah.
Faye's pure existence causes resentment, which is the source of Ramses' strength.
Yes.
Faye had to exist. It was convenient for Faye to be there to motivate Ramses to do what he did. So Ramses was actually just acting like he was supposed to.
Exactly. Everybody. So maybe he is not an external force in the process. Can I ask
you a question, Chris?
Yes.
There's a bunch of acting on feelings here and people getting into trouble.
Yep.
Chris, are you with the logic lords or with the feelers?
I think
Logic Lords are dead. Soul 9000's gone.
Yeah, I think I'm with the feelers now because the Logic Lords process has already been, like, the start button has already executed here.
Yeah.
And we need somebody to desperately get us out of this process.
Yes.
So I'm with the feelers.
So here's a bailout. Miang continues to trash Ramses and says he was superb in meeting their expectations, but they have no more use for him. Quote, "You're a piece of trash, and being the reject that you are, why don't you just leave?" Haha. Motherfucker is still over here asking what he was born for. Krellian says he's a pathetic excuse for life and mocks his lack of humanity.
Yep.
Okie dokie. So, Miang won't kill us because we've served her, but she will allow us to get sacrificed as parts for Deus.
Yes.
But Chris, before that can happen,
Ramses stabs Miang.
He knifes her.
Yes.
Miang tells him, "Great job. This is how she wanted it."
Yes. I am fated so as not to be able to kill myself.
Ramses got duped into this shit too.
She wanted this, and thank you, Ramses, for killing me because I needed you to kill me.
This guy cannot stop getting owned.
No.
Like, it's like a Jackass sketch where they just keep getting him with the prank over and over and over again.
So he tries to one-up that, and then he tries to cut down Krellian.
Yeah, like Ramses' two-handed sword kills Krellian.
Yeah, and when he does that, you're definitely, like, you as the player, even if this is your first time through the game, you're like, yeah, Krellian's getting back up.
Yeah, he's going to fucking respawn.
Yeah.
The gang is just watching all this.
Yeah.
Rico appears and complains about missing all the action and points out that we should save Ellie until they all respawn.
Yeah, Bart, in this case, I didn't have Bart with me, and he has shown up at this point in time, and he apologizes for being late.
So they get Ellie down off that cross. Was she nailed there or tied? Do we get to see what the fuck?
We don't really
her
see
binding agent.
I'm assuming she was tied there, but as she is pulled off the cross and anime begins.
Yes, we get some anime.
She pulls out a old 1917 pistol.
Yes.
Which I was very confused about, but we get some explanation for that later.
Yeah, so was I. I was like, where the fuck did she get that?
She shoots Faye.
Yeah, she animes into Miang.
Yes. She moans a bit as her hair turns into the Miang hair.
Her bangs are covering her eyes like evil child Faye, but then it recedes, reveals her eyes, and her hair turns purple, and there's an anime gun drop.
Yes, the scene sort of zooms out as she stands in front of the eyeball mask in the background. Black Moon Forest is playing.
Billy notes that she took his gun.
Yes, Faye is fucked up, but he's hanging in there.
Yeah, he got shot.
Bart, not noticing the hair change thing, asks her why she did that.
Yeah.
Krillin, of course, is okay.
He responds, says that his body is a nanomachine colony not only to come back to life, but to unify with the mother.
Yes, that's his purpose. Elhiam is our mother.
Krellian says Ellie is the mother. Blue hair Ellie confirms she is the mother of all humans.
Yes, and then we get to a moment in this game that I would like to call Ellie explains it all.
Okay, I have Ellie decide to become a lore distribution machine, but
yes.
I thought I like yours better.
I was going to also call this section Ellie's Perfect Works, but there are many names for this for this particular section. But yes, she is going to explain everything. I have key facts written down.
Okay, what are some key facts that Ellie explains to us, Chris?
First, number one, a thing we already knew, but she says it again, that Deus is a weapon system. She then just says...
Built by humans to invade planets.
Yes, she then says all the shit about it being a very powerful weapon that was dismantled to be sent to a new planet.
After it killed a whole planet.
Yeah, whole planet.
It was loaded on the Eldridge to be taken elsewhere, because why would you abandon it? If you're like humanity and you've got a good weapon, you just need to move it. Like a priest, just shuffle it around.
Yeah, sure, why not? God damn it, Eric.
What
you just said. Okay. New key fact. The Zohar power reactor. The Zohar is the power source of Gears. It is the source of ether. It's everything.
Yeah.
It is what was disconnected from Deus to essentially stop it from being as powerful as it was, or as self-owning as it was.
I have that after Deus became self-aware and tried to take over the ship that it was on.
Yeah.
And the Eldridge captain self-destructed it and crashed the ship on this planet.
Yeah, a lot of the things that we kind of already knew via the Raziel tree sequence and the anime intro is being retold here.
And also, Ellie implies that the Zohar powers all the gears on this planet. And is the source of all the ether as well. So, like, all the magic and cool shit is because of something called the Zohar.
Indeed. More facts are coming out of her mouth. One of them is, the core that was detached from the Zohar, the biological computer Katamoni, crashed onto this primitive planet. It activated Persona, its life support plant that can generate organic material.
AKA people.
Yeah. Using this, it prepared for a genetic-based system for the day when Deus would be resurrected.
So yeah, this entire shit, humanity, gears, ether, all of that shit is part of its self-rebuilding autonomous program.
Yes, humans, specifically Cain and the Gazel ministry, came from this, and then all of humanity sort of spawned from them.
Yeah, the Gazel were organic elements in the core circuit that made up Deus. Female was Anima, male was Animus.
Rico absolutely has to chime in here, by the way.
Of course.
And ask about the Gazel geezers, but this is another one of those moments, kind of like back when in the Ethos HQ computer system hacking portion, when
somebody had to talk.
Everybody had to talk, and they had to rotate the cast around so everybody could be reminded that these characters were here. More facts.
Yes.
We learned about the Anima and the Animus. The Gazel lost their bodies, so they needed to extract the genetic factor.
Lost their bodies 500 years ago.
Yes, indeed, 500 years ago during the days of destruction. They needed to extract the genetic factor from certain humans.
Yeah, it's like DNA or some shit.
Yeah, essentially they had to extract the DNA from people that had similar DNA to the original bodies of the Gazel, which in many cases are the characters in our party. In Sophia and Krellian and all the people that have aligned with Anima relics.
Speaking of characters in our party, Maria talks for the first time in 10 hours to say one word.
Yeah?
Descendants.
Oh,
question mark.
Indeed. So essentially we learned that people were created solely to revive Deus. People aren't enough, though. Krellian supplanted the need of Deus with nanomachines.
Ellie confirms that everyone is a descendant of Cain and the Gazel, despite there being no females in this picture.
Indeed. And then Faye asks a question. Why do you know all this, Ellie? Her response.
My dude is dense as hell.
Yeah. Her response. I am Miang, the keeper of time, the representative of our god, Deus. I was born to guide the people toward the path of the resurrection of Deus.
Bart doesn't understand. Ellie says Miang's factor exists within all women.
I think now we can discuss the origin of Miang's name.
Okay.
because this has happened now. Because I don't know if you remember this, but we talked about, like, should we talk about the etymology of Miang's name when Miang when she was first introduced? And the answer was no, because that would spoil some things about her. According to the Perfect Works, her name was intended to be localized as Mia, Myyah.
Yes.
No one knows why Miang was chosen. The name Mia is lifted from the reverse of Elhayim, Elehayyym. Mia Elam, meaning Mia exists here. Hawa, her surname, is both the biblical Hebrew name as well as the Arabic name of Eve in Abrahamic religions. And as you said, this Miang factor exists in the DNA of all women. When one dies, the next one appears.
The one who transcends generations, the caretaker of humans, which is some Sophia shit too.
So yeah, are we to believe that when Miang respawns in the reincarnation of Sophia, or in the Elhayim figure, that's when the scenario is complete?
I think so. Okay. That's what we're supposed to read here, because it's two different entities that serve two different masters becoming the same thing. Mm-hmm. Although one's conscious of it and one isn't.
Krellian says something about Miang not being the true Miang.
Yeah, he starts talking about true Miang. Isn't true capitalized?
Yeah, it's weird, but I guess now that the true Miang has been manifested in Ellie, as we mentioned. Then they talk about how they need to destroy civilization because all of God's creations eventually get in his way.
Yes, they have to vanquish the planet civilization so she can unify with a Zohar modifier. So it's their Genesis and their Apocalypse. Yeah. We're wrapped in an irony ball.
It is the times we live in, man.
Ellie bids them farewell, but wishes to have a peaceful awakening.
Sure. All return to nothing, I guess.
You ever see the movie Melancholia? It's a Lars von Trier movie about the end of the world.
I feel like I maybe have seen it, but I don't remember anything about it.
The end is very violent and yet peaceful.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I imagined when she said that.
Okay. Then the tubes begin to come off the eyeball creature thing.
Yeah, Omen plays.
And the thing starts to descend, and Faye goes in after it.
Yeah, it descends into a glowstick liquid pool.
Yeah.
And Faye just jumps the fuck in there in his gear.
There's some FMV here.
Are we to assume only Faye's gear works since it's the Slayer of God and not really an Omni gear?
I guess.
Like, is that, I don't know if that's a coincidence or what, because they kind of just negated the purpose of all the remaining gears.
I guess we'll have to determine that once we get to the next chapter.
Yeah.
But we get some sort of some CG FMV stuff here, and Merkava emerges from like
a laser emerges and fires out of a chrome craft.
Yeah, sort of, and destroys some shit, which I don't know what the shit is, but things are being destroyed here.
And that's where Dream starts.
That is where Dream starts. This chapter is over. I did not play any more of this video game, so we cannot talk about any more of this video game yet tonight.
I just have that Ship of Regret and Sleep plays next. We'll start off with that next time.
Okay, Eric, are you ready to consult the RealNet?
Initializing RealNet.
The RealNet is a collection of our patrons who are listening to us record live and providing valuable feedback. If you would like to become a patron, please go to patreon.com/retroim.
Anyway, the RealNet.
The RealNet. Dent D says the fake net is going to fight Chris.
Wait, what?
That's true. I keep installing the fake neck. I'm probably going to die.
Motherfucker just said fake neck with the CKLMAAO.
Yeah, it is becoming hostile and aggressive toward Chris as time goes on.
The scene in the fight leading up to Ramses, according to Dent D, and I have no comment about this, but I'm just going to read it, is this scene plus the fight is right up there in my memory with Kingdom Hearts I Won't Let You Take Kyrie's Heart.
Forget it. There's no way you're taking Kyrie's heart.
I didn't play Kingdom Hearts.
I played Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and then 358 over 2 days. And I feel like I remember that as being like a pivotal, momentous thing, but I could be just inserting that memory into my head. I liked Kingdom Hearts when I played it, but I'm very afraid to go back to them.
Yeah, me too. Well, to go to them, period. I only experienced them
a lot
as a backseat driver there. So, also, Dent D says if the development crew had more time, we would definitely have been fighting the G elements in that one scene when they were approaching Merkava.
Definitely.
The descent down there is cool as fuck, which I agree with the angel stuff.
Yeah, that is a rare moment of Disc 2, nice setting and blocking and all that stuff.
Dent D also says Krellian crucified robots. He is definitely the kind of guy to put holograms of Nissan iconography in the ancient ship just to be dramatic for Faye. So that would shit on my theory, but I kind of like that one better.
Yeah.
Alter Impulse says Faye and Ramses are the only ones who can pilot any gear, which I guess Faye can pilot any gear, although we haven't seen evidence of that, I don't think, to this point.
Yeah, I
in
don't think
terms,
he's
of, in
tried,
terms of
really.
alignment. Yeah.
That would be interesting in like some kind of remake where you could choose which gear to pilot. It wouldn't make sense story-wise, but...
Right. At least before the Omni Gear portion of it.
Yeah.
So this is a good comment from Alter Impulse. His take is on this is in regards to the Karen flashback, right?
Mm-hmm.
My take on it is that she's lying to Ramses, and Ramses is actually a copy of Cain. Although that may be wrong, not necessarily sure on that if it's contradicted later. But I think Ramses kind of went all Sephiroth and realized that that was exactly what he was, especially when he knew he had the power to stop and kill Cain. I like that scene a bit because it's like Domini finally woke up from Miang's influence and she's like, no, stop. Ramses is so caught up in his own issues that he ignores that final warning. I really like that Sephiroth parallel there.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
It's good.
It's been a long time since I played Final Fantasy VII, but...
You'll play it next week.
I will play it in a couple of weeks here, and we'll see. I like this. Denton D says, in relation to the first battle with Ramses, this battle, fuck you, use all your fuel.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how that battle is portrayed.
Fuck you, use all your fuel. Go to the razor's edge.
But yeah, Alter Impulse agrees that the battle with Ramses is a fuel drain. This is a good comment here from Alter Impulse. It says, when you fight Opiumorph, Citan seems to hit infinity mode. I don't know whether that fight is more conducive for any character since he always takes Citan there, but if it's just my being lucky, 2 out of 3 playthroughs Citan has hit infinity mode in Fenrir versus Miang in Opiumorph. I had Citan, it didn't happen for me, but that is interesting. Probably random, or maybe an Easter egg, who knows. But I think the correct strategy on Miang, according to Alter Impulse, and I agree with this, is just to chip away with triangle attacks so that her nukes don't do any damage because you haven't increased her power. Like, that's the smart way to do it, but we are dumb. So, yeah, a good way to beat that is System id, Jesse Cannon, and Citan's Infinity Mode, if you can get that to all procure at the same time. Dindy said, did Ramses not hear any of Krellian's speech about their bodies needing to be destroyed at a molecular level? When he stabbed them?
Yeah, right. No, he wasn't listening.
Of course
He wasn't
not.
listening.
Yes.
We knew that. Plus, it's not really the act of killing it. I'm sure Ramses gained satisfaction from the act of stabbing.
Yeah, indeed.
And temporarily killing them.
And Alter Impulse said, Mommy Dearest is back in terms of the unification of El Hayam and Miang.
Yeah, later on, we need to unpack what it means to have lover mother in edible complexes and all that other stuff.
It's rough out there. Essentially, Alter Impulse also says that Faye and Ramses operate their gears from their own power versus the Zohar power because they are perhaps contacts.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
And my favorite comment of the night is Dent D says, Kefka's Light of Judgment has appeared. And I always appreciate any Final Fantasy VI reference because that is one of my favorite video games of all time. So, thank you, RealNet, for the comments tonight. There were a lot of good ones. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for the outtakes. This episode is a production of Retrograde Amnesia. Thank you, Eric, for all of your hard work editing the podcast.
Yo.
Thank you, Mark Shepard, for the intro track. If you like the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/retroam. Get early access, bonus episodes, mini-series, and more. Find us on Twitter at RetroAmnesiaPod. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Please give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps people discover the show. If you have questions or feedback, email the show at retrograde.amnesiapodcast@gmail.com. Shouts to the RealNet for joining us tonight. And until next time,
yes, we will kill God.
And now you may go back to sleep. Exactly.
This thing will... burp.
I said Brotron.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. I can do this. Especially because my wife just flushed the toilet upstairs. And the microphone.
You gotta let that doo-doo sit there for a while.
The Raptors. Yes, Ramses.
Not the Raptors. You said the Raptors.
Did I say the Raptors? That's because my mouth is dry.
We'll check the... We'll go back and check the tape to see what Chris just said.
The Raptors, yes. Raptors, yes. Raptors, yes.
That's it. It's over. The Raptors win. There's a new NBA. Oh, they call a foul.
She needs us.
With Ellie. So she's going to group us with Ellie. But before that can happen...
Rams' stamps. Them.
Big Nutsary Stamper.
Say before that can happen again. Before that can happen.
But before that can happen... Black Moon Forest.
Indeed. Black Foon Morris. Black Foon Morris, is that what I said?
Yeah.
Fuck.
You have Krellion's line.
No.
Oh, God.